Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and today I just wanted to talk about how Knott is teasing an expansion. So if you watched my Calico River Rapids review, this will be no surprise to you that this video is coming out, because I did mention it in that review. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out if you'd like to. I will have it in the top right corner of this video right now. But Ghost Town Alive has started up in the past couple weeks, and of course with it brings a new storyline for the town of Calico for the time of Founders Day celebrations. And this year they went from kicking out the Mayfields entirely to them coming back, as well as the US cavalry starting to show up to try and prospect the town of Calico for potentially housing a new military fort. So of course this year we were introduced to Calico River Rapids, which brings a new storyline in itself, especially with John Potts and John Coulter, as well as the skunk ape potentially showing up and scaring folks of the town. But while all of this is going on and news is coming about that the skunk ape might be coming back, news arrives that the US cavalry are coming to town to check out whether or not it's a good place to place a military fort in the near future. Now, how is this teasing, you ask? Well, Knott has actually gotten into the teasing game for a little while now. They did one tease for Hang Time, and now they've done actually a couple teases for Calico River Rapids before that was announced, including just posters and small videos showing off the potential rides as well as announcements that were coming in the near future. Now, we've been hearing about a Knott's Berry Farm expansion for quite a while. We actually first reported on it over a year ago, and we've kind of jumped on that bandwagon because we've gotten more and more reports as time has gone by that this is most likely happening. Now, we never got an official theme, but a fort seems like a likely option within that area of the park that we were thinking that they'd be expanding to, and what we've actually been told multiple times that is where they would be expanding. Now, where I'm talking about, of course, is south of Ghost Rider, where 3 separate Knott's Scary Farm mazes are held every year, and those buildings will be torn down in the future, it seems, to make way for this expansion, and those mazes will be scattered in different places throughout the park. But I'm sure you're asking the question, how would a fort be tying into this theme? Or why would Knott's be teasing already? Well, it's almost August if you think about it, and that's usually when Cedar Fair announces their additions. And if Knott's is actually expanding its borders in the next year, why not start teasing for that now, only a couple months out? I mean, heck, Galaxy's Edge was announced years ago, and it just opened in this past week. So I don't see why Knott's couldn't announce it, as well as start teasing it months prior to the announcement. Now, I know Knott's usually announces their things in November, but August seems like a better time to announce a grand expansion. But that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves right now, at least at this point. But throughout the storyline that they are conveying, the US cavalry shows up, takes down some of the Mayfield clan, and starts getting really good looks at the town. And actually, by the end of the day, usually you'll see the cavalry quite enjoying their time and really thinking the town might be the most promising place for the fort. And if the expansion really is a fort, I think it would be a great fit. It's not just an expansion of the ghost town necessarily, because the ghost town is quite large, in all honesty. It could be maybe a little bigger, but adding in theming just like they have with Calico River Rapids, as well as with Tom Sawyer's Island as an inspiration kind of for the new land, I think it would be a great fit for Knott's. It still keeps in with that ghost town theme, but it spreads itself out just enough to be different. Just like Calico River Rapids has in the past couple weeks, it definitely seems like it's still intertwined within the same storyline, but it definitely has a different feel enough where you would consider it part of a different land, or just area of that land. Now, of course, they're even handing out newspaper clippings that say that the cavalry is looking at Calico to be a potential host for the military. And I don't think they'd be wasting their time printing up many newspapers a day if they weren't really meaning business with the cavalry looking this out. Now, I've heard a couple things about the expansion more and more, and I've heard some people say 2020, and I've heard some say 2021, But if it's happening next year, it would be an amazing fit for the 100th anniversary of the farm itself, because the farm was founded in December of 1920. But then again, you could argue the actual 100th anniversary isn't until December, so 2021 would be a better fit. But I guess that's just in what perspective you're really looking at. But if it was in 2020, I'm sure it would shock a lot of people, because they wouldn't be expecting such a large addition after Hang Time and then of course Calico River Rapids, being both pretty big additions, Hang Time especially. But if they were to go 2021 for this expansion that we keep hearing about, it would be a crazy long-term storytelling effort from Ghost Town Alive over a 2-year period, talking about how a fort might be coming. Now, I don't know if they go a full 2 years, but you never know. Some parks start teasing years before they get a specific ride, because they usually know a good 5 years in advance at least what they are potentially getting in the years to come. But as of right now, we have no way of knowing if this is 100% happening, that there is going to be an expansion within the next 2 years' time. But the fact that Knott is teasing a brand new fort is quite huge. If you think about it, a fort by itself could take up a big portion of that area that we keep talking about, and it just makes me more and more excited for the next couple years. Now let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments down below. Do you think they will expand with a new fort addition to Calico within the next 2 years, as well as some flat rides? Do you think the coaster that could potentially be coming to this area would be in 2020 or 2021? Let us know. I'm personally thinking more 2021. Or do you even think this is happening at all, and that Knott's is just giving us a red herring? I mean, they could potentially be, but Knott's definitely seems to be one to tease additions in not so perfect ways. I mean, heck, they started getting us thinking about dinosaurs coming to Bigfoot Rapids last year, so you might not be surprised at them trying to misdirect us, but you never know. I think since they've put it in Calico during Ghost Town Alive, it could be a potential storytelling tease that just foreshadows everything that will be coming in the next coming years. I think an expansion would be the perfect fit for this park. It's quite small as of now and really needs to push out to make sure it stands out in this crowded Southern California theme park landscape. Make sure to subscribe though. We will have tons of updates on this in the future, as well as tons of other updates from other parks in around Southern California. But thank you so much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you on the next ride.